The town of Briarwood looked peaceful to outsiders. Neat houses, clean sidewalks, American flags hanging from porches. But peace is not the same as justice. Malik Johnson had lived in Briarwood his whole life. He knew which streets felt safe and which ones made his chest tighten. He knew which store clerks followed him with their eyes and which teachers expected less from him before he ever opened his mouth. On this particular morning, Malik stood at the bus stop with his sketchbook tucked under his arm. Inside it were drawings of bridges, long, curved structures connecting places that otherwise would never meet. "Morning," Mrs. Carter said, stepping up beside him. "Morning," Malik replied politely. She smiled warmly. "Still drawing bridges?" "Yes, ma'am." "Good," she said. "The world needs more people who believe in connections." The bus arrived. Malik climbed on and sat near the back, as usual. 3 seats ahead sat Ethan Walker and his friends. "Dude," one of them whispered loudly, "don't look now, but you know who's back there." Ethan laughed. "Relax. He's just sitting." Malik pretended not to hear. Pretending was something he'd practiced his entire life. At school, Malik kept to himself. He answered questions carefully, never wanting to sound too smart or too angry. In history class, the teacher spoke about equality and freedom. Ethan raised his hand. "If racism is illegal now, why do people keep talking about it like it's still a problem?" The room went quiet. Malik felt his stomach twist. The teacher hesitated. "Well, laws change faster than minds." Ethan shrugged. "Sounds like excuses to me." A few students nodded. Others looked uncomfortable. Malik wanted to speak. His thoughts burned inside him. But experience had taught him that when he spoke about racism, people didn't hear pain, they heard accusation. So he stayed silent. Silence, he knew, was safer. That afternoon, Malik stopped at a convenience store to buy a notebook. He walked slowly, careful not to touch anything unnecessarily. Still, the clerk watched him closely. "Can I help you?" the man asked sharply. "I'm just buying this," Malik said, holding up the notebook. "Aha, empty your pockets." Malik froze. "What?" "Store policy," the clerk said. "Had problems before." Malik's hands shook as he obeyed. People stared. Someone whispered. When Malik left the store, humiliation followed him like a shadow. Across the street, Ethan had seen everything. For the first time, something felt wrong to him, not loud, not dramatic, but heavy. 2 weeks later, Briarwood buzzed with news. Someone had spray-painted racist slurs on the community center. Malik walked past the building and felt sick. The words were ugly, violent, permanent in their cruelty. Officer Reeves stood nearby, arms crossed. "Any idea who did this?" he asked Malik. "No, sir." Officer Reeves studied him for a moment too long. "You sure you didn't see anything suspicious?" Malik understood the question beneath the question. "Yes, sir," he said quietly. Across the street, Mrs. Carter watched with fury in her eyes. "This town hasn't changed as much as it thinks," she muttered. The school organized an assembly to address recent events. Students sat in rows. The principal spoke about unity, about kindness, but no one said the word racism. Malik stood up. His legs trembled. "My name is Malik Johnson," he said. "And pretending racism doesn't exist doesn't make it disappear. It just makes it easier for it to grow." Murmurs filled the room. "I get followed in stores. I get questioned by police for no reason. I get judged before I speak. And I'm tired." The room was silent. Ethan stared at Malik, heart pounding. This wasn't anger. This was truth. That night, Ethan argued with his father. "Why do you always assume the worst about people who don't look like us?" Ethan asked. His father scoffed. "That's just how the world is." "No," Ethan said quietly. "That's how we made it." For the first time, Ethan realized racism wasn't just hatred, it was comfort. Comfort in never questioning yourself. And he was done being comfortable. Weeks later, Malik unveiled his final art project at the town exhibit. A massive drawing of a bridge. On one side, faces filled with pain. On the other, faces filled with fear. The bridge connected them. The title read, "Understanding is a Choice." Ethan stood beside Malik. "I was wrong," Ethan said. "And I'm sorry." Malik studied him carefully, then nodded. "Listening is a start," Malik replied. Mrs. Carter wiped away tears. Officer Reeves looked at the drawing longer than anyone else. Something in him shifted. Racism didn't disappear in Briarwood. But something cracked. People talked, questioned, learned. Malik kept drawing bridges. Ethan kept crossing them. And the town slowly, painfully, began to understand that silence protects injustice, but courage can change history. Final message. Racism is not just hate. It is silence. It is assumptions. It is choosing comfort over truth. And change begins when someone stands up and says, enough.